Hello, Bear Center visitors and online watchers and listeners. My name is Morgan. I am one of the 6 summer interns here at the Bear Center this summer, and I will be narrating your 11 a.m. broadcast today. 2 of our beautiful interns, Elise and Jacqueline, are below me right now on the observation deck, and they will be giving our 2 females a little treat today. Holly is very aware that food is here, and little Tasha is behind her in the pond. She just finished up taking a nice little swim, and it seems like she hasn't decided if she wants to swim or take a treat. Oh, and water wins this round. It is a hot and sunny, beautiful day here in Ely, Minnesota. So our bears are welcoming this with the chance to get to cool off in our pond area. Tasha is our youngest bear. She is only 2 years old, so she's not yet a full-grown adult. So she has a lot of energy to burn off. And on a hot day like today, the chance to play and cool off in our pond is very welcome. She did decide to come over and get a snack, though, so both of our females are currently munching away on what we call bearsicles. On a hot, sunny day like today, they can get really hot just like us humans, especially with that black coat. So we give them bearsicles to help them cool off. We do these enrichment programs several times a day with our bears for the chance to give them a little snack and to give our visitors and online watchers a chance to see our bears. We also give them their food in a variety of what we call enrichment toys so that they have to work with that toy and manipulate it to get their food out. The bearsicles are really popular on hot days because they're a mixture of some frozen fruit juice, nuts, berries, and other goodies that our bears have to claw at, often scratch, flip over, and lick to get all the goodies that they can. Tasha seemed a little frustrated that she couldn't get all the goodies she wanted in the first go, so she just stepped onto our scale. For our visitors, that is our red-sided box, and we will weigh our bears once a week every Friday, so they will be weighed tomorrow on that scale. Tasha, it seems, got a little impatient that her food wasn't there right away, so she's probably getting a little antsy and is probably going to try to entice Holly to play with her a little bit more. Holly is typically pretty good at getting her bearsicle out. She normally goes at it with the tactic of carving out the middle, and then from there she'll see if she can scoop the entire bearsicle out in one go and just lick it outside of the bowl. That does seem to be a more effective tactic than just scratching. Tasha is now searching for what we call a spread that our interns put out. That means that they just took some snacks and goodies and tossed it into this area for our bears to find. That spread is consisted of shelled unsalted peanuts, dried cranberries, and sometimes even plump red grapes. But Tasha didn't seem like she found what she was looking for, so I guess she'll return to her bearsicle. She is using those really good claws that black bears have to scratch that bearsicle out. And those claws are also super effective at helping black bears climb. 3 out of our 4 bears do climb. Ted is the only exception due to his age and massive size at 600 pounds. But these 2 girls up in front are excellent climbers. In fact, just last week during this enrichment program, Tasha didn't even come down to the front because she was all the way up in a tree. So those claws, if you guys get the chance to see while they are scratching at the bearsicles, give them an excellent climbing advantage. You guys will also notice that they are using their long, sticky tongues to scoop up all the goodies that they get. Black bear's tongue can measure 6 to 8 inches, and they are very good at using them to scoop up all the food that they want, especially Holly. Holly is our bear on the left right now, and she is a little bit of a pickier eater. If you give her the choice between cranberries, grapes, and dried peanuts, she will often take just the cranberries and the grapes first, and then leave the peanuts. They're not her favorites, so she'll leave them for if she really gets desperate. But most of the time, chipmunks and squirrels that frequent this area are only happy to pick up what Holly leaves behind for them. Our bears will never try to catch these chipmunks or squirrels, but they also have no desire to. When you're a big bear, a little chipmunk just doesn't really impact you. The only instance I've ever seen of them interacting is if a chipmunk actually tries to climb into one of our bears' bowls while they are still eating. Our bears might swat their paw on the ground. And when you're a little chipmunk and a big bear has whacked the ground next to you, you get the message to leave them alone. So both of our girls are still making great work with these bearsicles, and while it is teaching them to work with it, and it keeps them mentally stimulated to try to problem solve and get all the food out of it they can, it is also cooling them off on a hot day like today. Our bears are shedding their fluffy winter coats. Holly, it looks like, is almost entirely done shedding, so she has a really thin, smooth, and silky black coat. Tasha still has some fluffier tufts that kind of give her a little bit of a mohawk look, and I think she looks adorable with it. But once her mohawk is gone and her summer coat is entirely in, she will be much more comfortable. So the way that they get this winter coat off is actually they might stand up on their back legs and shake and rub their back up against a tree. So it kind of looks like they're doing a little dance. It is very entertaining to watch, and it helps our bears get rid of that winter coat or any mosquito bites. The mosquitoes are out in full force these past few weeks in Ely. We've had a dreadful combination of rain and storms followed by a humid sun. So that has been a feeding frenzy for bugs. And mosquitoes do swarm around black bears as well as humans. They like to frequent the face region because that is the area where the black bears have the least amount of fur to protect them. So on days where we notice that our bears are getting an exceptional amount of bugs, we will spray them with Bear Safe Bug Spray. Just like humans, our bears are bugged by the mosquitoes. And they do get mosquito bites. So our bears will often swat at their ears or at their own faces to try to get rid of the bugs. But they get to do something pretty cool that humans don't get the chance to. They eat the bugs. I witnessed Tasha have a giant bug on her ear, and she swats it off onto her paw. Sees that it's there and then says, "Oh, look, a snack." And then she just eats it. In fact, Lucky last week actually ate a frog that jumped into his path. Black bears are very opportunistic eaters. They're not really hunters like people often assume that they are, so they won't so much go out on the prowl for food. It's more of if they happen to stumble across it at that moment, that is their snack, which is why Lucky did eat that frog that hopped into his path. I'm looking at Tasha now, who is on our right. Holly is still on the left. And it looks like she has made some great progress on our bearsicles. I'm glad she decided to be patient and sit down and try to work at them for a while. Holly is also making excellent progress on these bearsicles, and once our girls are done, they will probably go right back to playing. Earlier, our visitors and online watchers got the show of watching our two females run around and play with each other, and you know that that is just play because they actually do not make any noise. The only thing you will hear is the sound of branches cracking under their weight or them panting heavily because it is a lot of exercise for them. So the past few weeks, our two females have been interacting together in the morning, which is really exciting because they actually didn't get to interact in June. June is mating season in the black bear world, and the females are the ones who are the very territorial ones. So these 2.5 acres in front of me, which our bears have to roam, forage, and play in, is considered Holly's territory because she is the older of the two females. So Tasha was viewed as competition during this time. Females also get the first say of who they mate with. So again, Tasha was viewed as competition for a mate. So our females were kept separate to reduce any conflict. Since it is no longer mating season, there is not a risk of this. So our females have been interacting together in the morning, and it has gone wonderfully. It has all been playful, and we are happy that Tasha has a new friend for her to play with. However, there has been a little bit of an interesting dynamic from that. Anyone who has ever had dogs like myself can know that when you try to have a puppy and an older dog interact, it normally goes the way that the puppy always tries to initiate the play. The older dog typically humors them and then gets tired. And that is true with our bears. Tasha, being the younger one, will often initiate play between her and Holly. And Holly will humor her for a while. And then after a while, Holly says, okay, that's enough. I need to nap and I need my me time. And she always gets her me time in the afternoon. Then Tasha will typically come in, and our other male, Lucky, will typically be out in these 2.5 acres. So for our visitors, if you hang around all day, you will get to see Holly and Lucky later. Holly, it looks like, has decided she is done with her bearsicle and sauntered over to the left area, probably looking for either some more food to graze on or some shelter from the shade. Holly's typically not that big on swimming. If she does wander to our pond, she might just daintily put her feet in the water or drink it a little, but she's not as much like Tasha. Tasha will completely submerge herself into that pool and she'll be seen splashing and swimming. Lucky is the same way. In fact, on a really hot day like today, he'll often try to climb and swim all over those logs, and he can even be seen blowing bubbles in our pond area. Each of our bears is very playful and has their own personality, which makes for great entertainment. Tasha, it looks like, has actually popped her entire bearsicle out of her bowl, so that will probably be a much easier angle for her to try to get all the goodies and snacks she wants, especially with the sun still beating down on it. So since I no longer see Holly, she is probably relaxing and enjoying a little bit of her me time, but I'm sure she will make an appearance later. So I am going to start to wrap up. Thank you so much for our online watchers and listeners, as well as our volunteer camera operators and in-person visitors for tuning in with us today. We are a nonprofit education facility celebrating 10 years of educating the public about the myths and misconceptions with black bears. So just by being here today, you have made our bears happier and you have supported us. So thank you so much for coming. For our in-person visitors, the wristbands that you have are good the entire day. So if watching our bears have their bearsicles made you a little hungry, you can always go get a snack and come back and see us later. We do programs every hour on the hour here at the North American Bear Center, so there is always something to do. Your wristbands also get you $1 off at the International Wolf Center on the other side of town, where they have 2 beautiful Arctic yearlings, so I definitely recommend checking them out. If you're looking for more to do inside in our air-conditioned facility, we have a theater that shows movies on a loop, as well as our Northwoods